Do you ever get painful wrists from typing on your non-ergonomic keyboard for hours? Well, now you don't have to with the Xbose Mechanical Ergonomic Keyboard. In all seriousness though, there are a lot of people who do need ergonomic keyboards thanks to RSI and many other conditions like me with arthritis in every joint in my body. So having an ergonomic keyboard is actually a fairly important thing for some people, and one of the big things with that is that adoption is just really quite minimal. There are a number of factors in this, mostly the learning curve but also the price, and Xbose think that they've kind of conquered both of those. So let's take a look. So as I said, this is the Xbose Mechanical kind of ergonomic keyboard. It features a radial design with Gateron switches and is effectively still the same QWERTY layout that you're used to. There are a number of redundant keys like extra enter and backspace keys, as well as control and shift, and it's in a, as I said, radial design, which in theory is better positioned for your hands and your wrists to be kind of more resting rather than in theory more sort of bent outwards, which is a little bit worse for your joints. According to Xbose website, the biggest reason that ergonomic keyboards have not been adopted sort of widespread is the learning curve that it takes to get into them. Now with this one obviously featuring a standard sort of QWERTY but slightly radial design, in theory this means that it's easier to learn, and I must say that when you compare it to even some of the ones that people like Linus Tech Tips have been reviewing recently with literal fold out mirrors so that you can see where, like, what you're typing because it's so unintuitive to use, this is definitely a breath of fresh air in that market. Now, does that mean that it's easy to just go straight to typing on? Well, my initial experience was that it was fairly easy to mostly get right, but there were a number of effectively sort of habits that I have with my hands that are sort of muscle memory that are really very difficult for me to get out of, and so therefore it took me a number of days to be able to get used to it in the first place and actually not make those mistakes as often. There are a number of keys that I feel are too far away from the standard typing position, which does mean that you end up with a lot of stretch and strain in your hands, but I'll come on to that more in a second. Now, because this keyboard is selling for about $200, and that's apparently just on sale as it's normally about $260, that's still fairly expensive even in the realm of mechanical keyboards, especially even on the gaming side. I would mention they do still have an offer where you can buy, basically just buy two of them for a sort of bulk buy discount of $360 as opposed to the $400 if you're buying two straight up, and that's the sort of home and work pack, where obviously it means you can take one to your work and means that in theory you don't have to switch between a regular keyboard and this ergonomic one. But my experience of switching between the two was that, well, I do make a few mistakes every now and again switching between them, especially just as soon as I start switching. It's not a big deal and it's fairly easy for me to transition between the two. Now, as I mentioned a second ago, there are definitely a few quirks of the keyboard. The first thing is the redundancy in some of your kind of general use keys. So not only do you have the split spacebar, which obviously effectively means you have two spacebar buttons, but you also in between the spacebars have double enters, or you have a central enter and then an enter on the right. You have a backspace again just above that enter key and a massive backspace up on the top right as well. Although I would mention that you will have to get used to using the central ones, and I don't quite know which finger you're really meant to be using that with, because every time I tried to use the backspace key with my pinky like I would normally do, it was much too far away and I had to not only stretch my pinky but then also move my hand to be able to get to it. So that's something to bear in mind, especially if you do pick one of these keyboards up and you're looking for tips on how to get better typing with it. There are definitely a few other quirks with the keyboard, including the 3 shift keys. You have one on the left, which is pretty hard to get to with your left pinky, one in the center, which is what you're going to be using primarily as your shift key, which you generally use with your right thumb, and then you have one where your right pinky can grab it, although again that's also a lot further out than you would normally expect and quite hard to get to again. The keyboard is also missing home and enter keys, which I found actually significantly annoying when I was trying to type type out the sort of notes for this video. It was something that I use fairly often to be able to jump to the start or end of a line, especially if I've, jumped somewhere in the middle to make a small correction and I want to just press N to get to the end of the line and start typing again. So the fact that this is missing is quite annoying. Now they do have software that you can remap a lot of the functionality of the keyboard, so if you would rather not have, I don't know, page up and page down and you'd rather have it end and home, then you can remap that if you like. The software also lets you control all the RGB options on the keyboard. The keyboard has full individual per key RGB backlighting, like basically all of the high-end gaming keyboards do these days, which does mean that it is also quite attractive to look at when it's kind of on, and it has a lot of different modes and stuff. Now the founder of the company is a, I believe, Chinese doctor, and it definitely feels, at least the software side anyway, feels like a translated Chinese software, as I've reviewed a fair number of keyboards and peripherals and stuff like that with this style of software, where they're kind of just some funny translations and wordings for the different patterns and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter that much, it's just something you kind of notice as you're scrolling through the list, but either way, that is also available in the software. A few other notes about the keyboard: it's actually a USB Type-C keyboard with a removable cable, which is awesome. This one comes in the box. It's a nice braided Type-C to Type-A cable, has a key puller in the box, as well as this nice felt travel case and a rubber wrist rest. The wrist rest is definitely on the firmer side. It's kind of a strange one because when you pick it up, it's quite flexible and quite movable, but when you actually lay it down, because of the sort of hexagonal mesh on the bottom, it's actually fairly firm. Now for me, this was a nice kind of bit in between the usual very just hard plastic, but at the same time I personally prefer Razer's approach, which is a slightly more soft, more cushioned kind of wrist rest, but either way, it's nice that it comes with one and it certainly feels decent quality. Speaking of quality, I want to take a look at the actual keyboard itself. The overall quality feel of the keyboard is pretty good. It's a sort of aluminium casing, which strangely enough, it feels very light, but also very well built, no keyboard flex at all, which is great. And I would mention, as I said, it uses Gateron switches. You can pick which type of key switch you would like when you buy the keyboard. This one has the browns, and they're actually a very nice typing experience. The keycaps are also pretty good. They're double shot keycaps, which actually have a fairly nice sort of almost tactile coating on them, and generally they feel good to type on as well. So if this was a normal keyboard, I'd be generally pretty happy with it. Now of course, they actually list on their website that this is a great gaming keyboard as well, and since this is kind of the main focus of this channel anyway, I think we should take a look at that. The overall experience in gaming was generally pretty fine. Obviously all of the keys that you're normally using are generally in the same positions, give or take. There are a couple that are definitely out of your way, and there are definitely some things that I noticed with the spacing on the keys that made it actually fairly painful to game on, ironically. Things like pressing R, obviously while your fingers are still on W for an A or S or D for moving around, to then go and press R is actually a lot further away than you would normally expect. And not only does that mean that I missed the key a fair amount, I actually ended up that I had more strain in my index finger from trying to reach over and press it than I would normally do on a standard keyboard. Now of course, this is still just a mechanical keyboard, and obviously it's still a decent overall not only typing but gaming experience, and if you can get used to or even remap some of the keys that you use on a regular basis, I can see this being good for you. Now, do I recommend this keyboard? Well, there's kind of two classes of people here. There are people with RSI, arthritis, and all the other kind of joint issues that need an ergonomic keyboard, but at the same time don't want to have to learn ones that you literally have fold-out mirrors for or anything like that, or even the kind of just pushing up and down and left and right with sort of large circles. I can see how people won't want to go out of their way to learn that, but with a fairly standard layout with just a bit of a radial pattern, that may help. And so for those sorts of people, yes, it's a pretty decent overall kind of proposition. It's not horrifically expensive, especially compared to all of the other ergonomic keyboards, and as I said, it is definitely a lot easier to learn than a number of the other designs. Now, if you're just a general gamer or someone who just looking at different keyboards and wondering which one to get, would I recommend this to you? Well, if you're interested in having what could be a preventative measure for RSI or some other kind of fairly painful joint issues, then sure, it's an interesting option. It's fairly easy to learn. As I said, it's not horrifically expensive, but of course, if you're just after a gaming keyboard and kind of looking for occasional typing or whatever, and certainly if you don't use it all that much, then generally speaking, I can't overly recommend this, at least personally anyway, but that's also down to personal preference, so you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, to round out my usual review, would I put this on my desk? Well, personally, if I typed a load more, like if I wrote scripts for every video and all that sort of stuff and did, a video every day, then actually potentially it could be a fairly good kind of balance between preventative measure and just my already existing pain. So potentially, but for me right now, I would say no. It's something that, I tend to not do that much typing on my keyboard, and if I'm using my keyboard, it's generally for gaming, in which case I normally tilt my keyboard anyway so that my wrist is fairly straight, and therefore I'm getting the benefit of this keyboard minus the hand strain. So I guess that's that. And of course, I do have a little bit of sort of old habits die hard and making it a bit difficult to use, even with some experience with it. Either way, if you're interested in the Xpose ergonomic keyboard, I'll leave a link in the description down below. That'll be the top one for you, and you can check it out when and where you watch this. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button too for more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with live streams on Thursdays. And you can also check out the other links in the description if you want to support the channel and keep me making these videos on, as I said, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There are plenty of other videos over here for you. As I said, there are links in the description to Amazon and Overclockers UK. There's private internet access, which is a great VPN you can check out. Humble Bundle, and a load of other stuff, including merch with stuff like this and non-Tech Team GB related designs, so feel free to take a look. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave that in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next video.